Hello everyone, it's me again, the Pastry Poet here. So I want to continue to share my journey towards becoming a pastry chef. And yesterday I talked about when I just started out and how I end up in the hotel industry. And at the time I was still in high school. I remember my very first week in 11th grade. I was unable to go to school on the Friday, and that was because of financial reasons. As my mother was a single parent and she had the kids and she was not able to at the time. And as a young child growing up, I always feel the need to be there for my mother as much as possible, right? And so wherever there was a burden, I will try my best to shoulder that burden. And so I said, don't worry yourself, maybe go to school. Even if there wasn't any lunch money to go to school, I would still end up and go to school. And I remember when I got the opportunity to go into the hotel, right, after starting. And that's one of the reasons why when I was mentioning in part one, when the chef said that you will never be out of a job, that's one of the reasons why it struck me so much, because I really needed a job. I needed the skill, but I really needed a job. And at the time I was very determined in anything that I set my mind to. I was very passionate as well. And so when determination meets passion, is a great combination. And so I was determined to start the job and learn as much, but I was also passionate to execute what I learned and to get in as much as I can in a short space of time. And I keep doing it. It was not easy because my high school was a shift school, right? I attended Mushet High School in Trelawney. So when I was on morning shift, I used to leave school and then go to work, and then I would work from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon until like 10:30 in the night. And so by the time I get home, it probably would be maybe like 11 o'clock or 11:30. And then I will get up again and go to school. And when I'm on evening shift at school, I will go to work like 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I will leave work maybe like 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and try to head to school. It was not easy because a lot of time when I'm at school, I was really sleepy because work was there. At the time as well, I was playing basketball. I used to be on the basketball team. And I remember when I started off with, working, which when I just started, I wasn't getting paid, but I was working. And then after a time, they started giving me like a stipend. They call it a stipend. And when I saw the stipend, at first, it was encouraging. But after I realized that, it was really a stipend, I started to try to see how much I can get past the stipend stage. And I remember while playing basketball, my teammates at one point, I felt like they was a little bit, they were a little bit down, because when I talked to my coach, and he told me that boy Conway, you have to do what you have to do. And that was the first time I understand what courage was, because I had to step away from basketball to go and to carry on with pastry, right? And it was not easy because Moshe team back in those time, right, was a very good basketball team, and I really love basketball. So I had to choose between basketball, and I had to choose between going out there, working and learning. One of the things that I did, was, because of all that I was going through, I put everything into the work, right? There was challenges at home, right? There was financial challenges. there was so much, because my father wasn't there, my mother was there, and living in Norwood at the time, and everything was happening. School was there, the pressure was there, everything all together. As a young man growing up in the inner city with a single mother, and dealing with peer pressure, dealing with everything, was not easy. So work was kind of like my escape place. And so every time I go to work, I would stay there long. I would stay there. I would stay there for two things. One, it was a place of escape, right? Two, I could express myself in a different way, because I wasn't a big talkative person. It was really in the industry I started to interact with people and start to talk more. And one thing I said to myself was, me never want to left from here so and go nowhere else, go be another trainee, right? And so I try to learn as much as I can, as fast as I could, to the point where I believe that maybe 6 months into working at that place, I probably learned as much that could carry me up to 3 years into my career, right? And so I was eager to learn. I literally learned as much while being a trainee before I leave Sunset Beach. I could make breads, I could do a simple wedding cake, I could do pastries, I could do the dinner buffet. I remember one of the first time I did a dinner buffet, and I take a picture of it, right? I don't know if I have a picture, but that picture is on my Instagram page. I want to share that picture one of these days. And I hold a chocolate cake, and it has some chocolate decor on it, and I felt really good, because when you make your products, you really feel good about yourself. And so I keep that passion going. There was a time when I look around who was there with me, and I realized that they really wanted me to learn and grow. And I believe that kind of support, and because they believe in me. I remember one time the assistant pastry chef at the time that was there, Horace Bernard, he looked at me, and I will never ever forget this. I did a cake, and he said, boy, I can't wait, you come take over, Trust me, the whole you do right now, you do very well. And those things kind of encourage me, because, coming from a place where, there's so much things happening, and you realize that you can express yourself. And so I started to love pastry now. Me no want to do no food again. Even though I used to cross train and learn basic from the food preparation side, I started to really develop a love for pastry. And as I believe that I said I didn't want to do pastry, or I didn't want to choose pastry, I believe that pastry really chose me. And when I started to love it, I don't want to do nothing else. I just want to pastry. I just want to eat pastry, sleep, wake up and do it. And so anybody knows that I'm very passionate about this that I do, right? If I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to do it, right? If it's not bringing me some form of fulfillment, I'm not going to do it. And purpose has always been on the forefront, So as a young youth growing up, that was an escape for me, and I could share with even my mother some of the stuff that I bake, and they like it and they can enjoy it. One major thing that stood out for me, I remember when I was whenever there used to be graduation, still in high school, I used to make cheesecake and make some pastries for the graduates, right? And that was a good thing, knowing that I was able to do that. I remember one year there was a teacher's day, and my teachers came to the hotel, and many of them didn't know that I was working there, right? And if I had doubt in anything that day, I felt what tears of joy was. Because when the teachers came and my boss at the time, they allowed me to go out there and to interact with them. When I look at the teacher's face, I said, I have to focus on what I'm doing and to come out good in this life. And if I ever have a doubt or try to do anything else, from that day I decided that I want to make people happy by doing what I do. And up until today, that has been one of the things that I continue to do. And that's why if I'm not doing it well, I am not doing it at all, because I want to know that when I make a product, someone can enjoy it. It can make you happy. It bring you on a journey, and you can actually get a taste of what I am passionate about, right? And so I keep that passion going on from that day until now. I'm talking now and I can still remember the teachers of how happy they were, to the point where I literally cried, and it was tears of joy, And so that is it for today. Continue to stay tuned. I'm going to take you through all the walks, all the places that I've worked, how I got the job. Maybe not how I got the job, but all the places that I've worked and a different experience. So stay tuned. Until next time, see you.